Hello, this is me just getting off my chest a little bit of my business plan towards my business, my retreat, Geodome retreat. I think it's going to be absolutely one of a kind. There's nothing else like it that I can think of. There's a lot of spas and retreats out there, but there's nothing that you can stay at like a geodesic dome unit. First of all, the geodome units themselves are built within the sacred geometry, ancient geometry type math, very triangles, and also it's a circular. The frame is made out of triangles, which are like 45-degree angles, very strong. The sound inside the domes are very conscious, increasing. They're very like kind of like along with nature. They're the same frequencies as nature. Each unit will have private saunas, very hot saunas for advanced users, but you can also just relax in there and do meditation. There will be a cold plunge pool. Each unit, which they're only about $1,500, $2,000. Some go up to maybe $5,000. You can get really high-end units at $10,000 that have motors in them that keep it, 1 degree above freezing for cold plunge. Some of these units can turn into hot tubs. Maybe some units might have a hot tub plus the cold plunge, so you could go right from one to the other. But I would say go from the cold plunge to the sauna would make more sense to me. And then maybe in the evening nights, you can warm up the cold plunge pool into a hot tub. I would love to have a ceremony dome in the center of the retreats, where we could then do singing bowls while we do meditation, breathing exercises. We can do box breathing and fire breathing, and just slow, 4 inhales and 6 exhales, or even longer, bigger, deeper breaths. Like start getting really into the exercising of breathing through your nose, out through your mouth. There's lots of teachings out there that a lot of people don't even know how to breathe properly. If we get into yoga, stuff like that, there will also be forest bathing on the property, where there'll be lots of just intricate little paths that we can walk through, and those paths can be little benches here and there, maybe the odd gazebo on every once in a while if there's a cool looking over a rock or over the Cooper's Pond or the waterfall or the streams, whatever. We could put a cool little gazebo and maybe some birdhouses. Birdhouses are going to be a huge thing on the property, where each unit, I'm hoping to have like a massive amount of birdhouses, like over 10 per unit, maybe cluttered it on a tree somewhere on a post just off the deck area, so they're obviously not pooping on the deck type thing. But it would be just like unbelievable, colorful birds. Colors are frequencies, sounds are frequencies from the birds, so it's very healing. It goes with the whole forest bathing aspect. Forest bathing is when you're walking through the forest, but you take your time. 2 hours to go 1 kilometer, not even. And you literally stop and you look at the bark, you look at the ground, you look at the trees, you feel yourself connecting, you feel your mind connecting with the trees. Like we are the trees, the psilocybins, we're all part of everything. The entire network is us. It's like the universe is within us and God is within us. So it's like by looking within us and by examining the outside world, it's very conscious, create like heightening and healing on another level. We're all used to these, Truman Show subdivision houses, and people need to really break out from that and get back to nature as much as possible. And these retreats are going to fully incorporate as much nature as possible. From inside even the units, I want to build them with symmetry as much as possible. The domes are circular, just like when you see in the back in the old days with Rome, where everything was symmetrical. Everything was good, designed in the golden ratio. The 1 to 1.6 math, if we could even pull that off, that'd be like on another level. There's a reason why the Ark of the Covenant was built in this math. There's a reason why all the Roman temples were built in this math. The hallways, the doorways, the buildings themselves. It's the cubic, which we don't use that math anymore. Ours is just slightly off for some reason, but that's a whole other story. So that's hopefully some of the units are going to have that. The particular spot I'm in right now has a property across the street that I own that I'm going to use for kayaking. Maybe have a pontoon boat you can rent, stuff like that. Eventually, I want to grow from this property to multiple other properties across Canada. Hire someone and look into the municipality and say, okay, first of all, are you guys accepting this type of stuff? So it's not like a big headache for us. What kind of permitting do we need? Outhouses are usually the biggest problem right now that we're occurring with, where we need full-blown septic tanks, and what sizing septic tank, and you can get little pump houses that you could pump to a septic tank from like 500 feet away. So a lot of these units can be very private. Each unit would rent for between 500 and 1,000 a night. We could have some that are just I call them grounding tents, but the Phoenix Domes and all these other companies have tents with stargazing roofs. The roofs are actually glass, like a little portion of it. All the domes will be glass roofs too, so you can look over your bed and check out the stars and stargaze. That's a whole other thing that we can do up there at night. But the tents, the grounding tents I'm speaking of, can be just located and like maybe a little bit cheaper, maybe $250 a night for something like that, where you've got maybe a composting toilet, which I think most cities allow, and you could just do the composting system, and then the shower would be one other problem we would kind of have to incur if it's like a well and we're welling stuff there, or we have just a lot of people just suggest having one main showering area that we can go. Maybe there's a large hot tub there as well. And then it's like a group hot tub type thing where you can at nighttime go meet others if you really wanted to, or just stay totally private in your own unit and just still do your cold plunge, your hot plunge, your saunas, and do everything else, and just have a nice relaxing week or night to yourself. I would love to get into catering. A lot of these places will be about an hour away from cities, so that you got no light pollution and you can see the stars better at night, and just a little away from cities and all the huckus and puckus and whatever you want to call it. But if I can get into catering, that'd be amazing. There's a reason I think in my past life here that about 10 years ago I did a ton of like catering and large parties, and people really admired my food and just coming up with cool ideas and different stuff. And I have an extensive amount of hours studying this stuff and culinary arts and all the other cool stuff. I've had a really intriguing kind of life when it comes to that stuff. So I'd love to get into even doing vegan meals, doing bulletproof coffees for people, where you can add stuff from grass-fed butters to goat's cream, milk, butter. We added maybe some lion's mane, some cordyceps, some other mushrooms for people if they want to, just do add-ons on top of their coffee. So in the morning, we either deliver them a nice hot coffee where it's, 4 liters or something, and they can just sip it between a party, or, do maybe frozen stews, frozen spaghetti sauces, where we make prior to in smaller batches, but very precise, clean, batches with lots of love. Lots of energy into that, and we could do vegan spaghettis versus meat versions, and just offer a lot of noodles that we have right in the shipping containers. We can just store them in our storage areas, and just offer them different types of gluten-free noodles, or just regular noodles, spaghetti noodles, macaroni noodles, whatever they prefer, whatever their heart desires. And we could literally bring them the noodles and the sauce, and they just warm it up whenever they're ready, when they're prepared. It's not like room service is here and you're just like got anxiety because you're just too rushed. Well, in this point, you could literally just warm it up yourself with your own, on the wooden stoves we'd be providing, or induction cookers, or whatever ideas we think of there for cooking reasons, or just offer it pre-warmed up. You know what I mean? We could get to the point where we're making burritos, wraps. Probably not the healthiest thing in the world, but it's comfort food. We want a bit of both, bit of comfort, bit of super healthy. Salads. I'm a big fan of salads. Chia seeds on there, some almonds. We could do chia pudding. All kinds of cool stuff. But that's a whole other ball game. But the resorts will be extremely unique. From the dome itself is very unique. So right off the hop, the dome is you're going to be staying in the coolest little dome area. And then the second is the privacy will be another large one. Having the saunas at your disposal. It could be running all day long. Whenever you feel like you want to use it, maybe do one in the morning, do one at night. We would strongly suggest people really take advantage of the cold plunge, as much as it's not the most comfortable thing in the world, but the way you're going to feel at night is just going to be mind-blowing. Like you're going to be leaving that resort in a couple days or a week, whatever you stay for, on a whole other level. You're going to feel like $1,000,000 just from the cold plunge on the saunas every day. And then just the relaxing, getting away from cellular use and all the other stuff, it's changed my life. Meditation, breathing, all that stuff, visualizing. We could get into programs like that. We're all energy, we're all magnets, you know what I mean? And we start increasing our consciousness. The law of attraction, law of vibration starts kicking in. We're more successful at work. We're better to our kids. We're better to our husbands. We're better to our wives. You know what I mean? Like, I guess not husbands in my case, but we're definitely just better people around the people that we're around when we get back to our days. Our employees, people we work with, our friends, we're just generally better. We work on ourselves. The whole world changes. Try and change your mindset, change your life. So some of the names I've been thinking of, I was going to stick with something Muskoka, but I realized that this retreat could possibly grow to the point where we're across Canada, Edmonton, Alberta, whatever. Just find spots where there's lots of population, but like an hour out of the city. I think my story of myself would be a great story for a background because of where I've come from as a quadriplegic, being in a wheelchair, how far I've come. From being at Sick Kids when I was 15 to now I'm 40 years old, and I just feel like I've conquered the world. I feel better than I ever felt. I don't know if I have a Kundalini awakening upon me right now, but my third eye has definitely opened up multiple times. I didn't even know that was possible. But there's definitely something very, very magical about this world, especially when you start to respect yourself more. You start eating healthier. You start grounding yourself with the world, with nature. You start being conscious of the trees, the people around you more. Pretty much everything that you're conscious of, you can give that more love. You start noticing like really wild things start happening. I think it's when our heart changes frequencies with our mind. And when that happens, it's like the Holy Trinity. Our neocortex starts to gravitate wonderful things into our life. And this world is just so cool. It's such an amazing, amazing place to be. And I really believe these resorts can help people on another level. With just great memories. We all got to do what we love, period. And then you do that, you're going to start attracting the law of vibration. It's all, our intentions are the number one thing, and following through with what we love. If we're not loving what we do day to day, stop what you're doing and go do it. Even if you can't even, I know people can't afford it or whatever. Just try to find something you can do that you can't afford. Go do it, and you'll realize you'll probably end up meeting somebody there. Someone will happen. A job change will happen. The world will start directing. Your intuition will start guiding you. Something wild will happen, and I'm telling you, you'll start finding yourself in the position where you're doing what you love every single day, and you'll be helping others. You'll be rewarded with it every day. Maybe you're getting money. It'll be lucrative. You do like an energy exchange from it. Whatever. But I'm looking for an investor, someone who wants to be on board with me, see this through, maybe very high business skills that have run businesses before, that can really help me get this off the ground on a whole other level. And yeah, I've definitely, I've gotten to the point where I paid for the property myself, paid cash for it, $850,000 for the specific 64 acres. And then the property across the street I purchased as well. I've gotten so far about 70 dump trucks in there. 40 of them were paid for. The other were free fill from some blasting site across the street. The driveway is very long, almost like half mile long. So the property value itself has gone up significantly. I've got some shipping containers being brought in the summertime, which would be great for storage, doing laundry. I got a well drilled 300 feet. I got a septic tank installed. I also got electricity installed. So now we're just ready to install my main geodesic dome house unit, which I'll live in there for now, but I would honestly just rent this sucker out and capitalize on it. It could be one of the main event center areas, or it could be for meditating, or just for renting it out. You know what I mean? We could easily do weddings and all kinds of cool stuff here. So as for now, I think that's about it. I'm just kind of getting stuff off my chest, rambling on real quickly here. And if I'll make some more videos adding to that stuff if I can. But really, truly, like a really cool experience all around. I'm looking for more ideas from more people to even make it cooler. And I think with pooling up people's ideas and learning from everybody else over time, we can keep adding to it and making it just the most unique experience imaginable. Like, I've never been to a resort in Jamaica where there's like the sauna's private. You know what I mean? Like, I know I like being around other people, but we do take on other people's energy. If it's their storytelling, if it's energy, negativity, or, you know, it's just, you know, that we got to really, like, sometimes be by ourselves or just with, you know, our loved ones, or just, you know, be able to control it a little more. If you want to go to the main area where there's a big hot tub, maybe, sure, you know, so be it. But anyways, hope everyone's doing good today. And yeah, if you got to the end of this video, thanks for listening. And if you know anyone that's an investor that wants to see, you know, I would do literally whatever percentages, you know, like, just to get this really going. We can get shares, the structure of the company so that there's shares to be sold, and, you know, see this to the point where we see multiple units across Canada, and eventually tackle other countries like Costa Rica or Panama or something, where, you know, maybe we advertise up here for people that want to fly down there, and it's more of a jungle style, you know, rainforest, whatever, you know, like something wild. Just find the most unique properties and then start building infrastructure and make sure the cities are on board with it. We'd be giving back a lot of the business to local businesses for local food. We would tourism would be up on our list. You know, any kind of tourism that's happening around there, if it's boat tours or, you know, helicopters, whatever, boat fishing, scuba diving, whatever, you know. So we would definitely help with all that stuff as well. So anyways, yeah, that's the end of my video for now. And yeah, hope everyone's doing good. I love you all. And if you know an investor, or you are one, and you want to, you know, this should be very lucrative at the end of the day. And not only lucrative, but you're going to help people. So it's a win-win for everyone. We all get to sleep really good at night, and we get to, you know, help people, which I think is the ultimate goal here. Have a good one. Bye-bye.